Do it again. All right, log out, log in. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Come on in. Come on in. Hope everybody's had a great weekend thus far. Hope everybody had a good week. Come on in. Appreciate everybody taking time out of their busy schedules to come spend some time with us. Hopefully, we'll pass off some positive information, be a blessing to others. We have a really special guest this week. I'm partial because it's a relative of mine. She's my cousin, but she's also like my sister. And of course, sisters can work your nerves at times, but I love her the same. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. First and foremost, for those that haven't had an opportunity to see my show before, a convo with B-Mac came about based on me and some of my personal struggles. And I recognized while I was going through my struggles that there were other people that were going through struggles, but that had no outlet or platform. And in the minority community, it is frowned upon for men to be vocal about whatever their struggles are. So I wanted to create a safe place or a platform for people to get information and be vocal or, to address some of these things. So, we can say it's okay not to be okay. Everybody doing their part to kind of break the stigma. So I really just want to be a blessing to others. And I've been fortunate to have people close to me that were a blessing to me. So this is me doing my part, being obedient to the Lord, and trying to be a blessing to others. And today's episode or today's podcast is we're going to talk about exploring self-care. So we have none other than my cousin, Dr. Cherry Fluker, the self-care guru. She's going to be with us today. And so without further ado, here she is. Hey.
Hello.
What's going on?
I don't know if you know that I could hear you in the background. Yes. I heard that working the nerve part.
Yes.
We'll talk about that later. We'll square up about that later.
Yes. I'm very much aware that you can hear me. So that was kind of planned. But and before I go any further, and we get into our banter back and forth, this show was sponsored by none other than my daughter, Shapely Beauty Spa. So I put her link up here. She does a lot of lipocavitation, rejuvenation. I'm also going to play a little small clip shortly. We'll take a brief break and play a small clip from her, some of the services she offers. And we're going to do a raffle at the end of the show. I have a question. If whoever can answer that question will win the raffle for a $50 gift card to her website. So I'm not gonna let the cat out the bag yet what that question is, but I will be asking that toward the end of the show. So you have to be present at the end of the show to at least win.
Let me just say how proud I am of Shan for everything that she is doing. That's so awesome. So proud of her.
Yeah, man, you and me both. For her to be as young as she is, and for her to multitask and work as hard as she is, I'm beyond proud.
Very proud.
So all right, we're going to talk about self-care. Let's talk about first, before we even talk about what self-care is, how did you get into self-care and
Good
your
question. And I heard you say about how you kind of, got into your platform from your own personal struggles, and it was kind of the same thing for me.
Mhm,
You know me very well. We're like brother and sister. And one of the things that I have done, I'm married, kids, family,
mhm.
work, community involvement, all these things that I have done. I call myself a professional student. I've been in school for as long as I can remember, have always had all these things going on.
Uh-huh.
And it's so easy to kinda keep up this facade, like everything is great and wonderful. And, after just a series of unfortunate events is what I call it in my life,
Mhm,
losing my parents so closely together and,
mhm.
dealing with the pandemic and everything that's going on, I really kinda had an opportunity to sit down and think about, um myself and
Right.
what I wanted in life and, how I was feeling and all of these things, and I realized that while I appeared to have it going on and have everything that, lining up in my life, that there was that piece missing, and it was self-care. And
Right.
so I was able to during the pandemic, and I know we're still in the pandemic, but when we were during the shutdown,
Mhm,
I had just a lot of time to reflect and think about
mhm,
things that I wanted to do and how I could help other people, and
mhm.
and then this was born. So I just kind of, realized that I had been lacking self-care and how so many people, I talk to my friends and family, and we all have the kinda same story going on. We're
Mhm.
living this rat race in life, working and our schedules are packed and we're doing all of these things for other people and we're not always loving the things that we do, but we don't want to let other people down, and
Right.
we feel like we have to live up to these expectations and all these other things. So after hearing that narrative over and over from so many people,
Mhm.
um, I realized that piece, that self-care piece, is missing from a lot of people's lives, and
Okay.
I just wanted to help, just kind of, focus on my own self-care, and as I was going through my own self-care journey, trying to, find ways to help other people to focus on their self-care journey.
Got you. Got you. Okay. And that is an awesome story because it comes from, it is born through adversity.
Mhm.
And that those are the things that resonate with people. So let's talk about what is self-care.
And when I started thinking about that, when I first started this journey, we hear these things, we hear that word self-care all the
Mhm.
time. And it can get so complex when you're, searching on Google and
Right.
watching TV. It can get very complex. And I thought about that's why people don't do it because it seems like this hard thing. We get into
Right.
these textbook definitions about what self-care is, and it's intimidating. And,
Right.
you have all these feelings about it being, selfish or something that's not for you or something that has to be earned, all of those things that we hear, but it's simple and we can make it so simple. It is just in my book. And again, I am not necessarily a self-care expert, but I am an expert. All my life I've been chasing, trying to find out, what's good for me, what I want, what makes me feel good, what
Right.
recharges me, what makes me able to be able to do all the things that I do. And it is taking that time to just focus on what makes you whole, what makes you feel good, what makes you, taking care of yourself. It's just very simple. Taking care of yourself so that you can continue to do those things that you need to do and take care of the people that you need to take care of. Taking care of yourself physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, all of those things. But it doesn't have to be this long, hard definition. It just needs to be taking care of yourself. What do you need to do to take care of yourself? What do you need to do to be your best self?
Awesome. And I like that because you remove all that added clutter and just said, you simplified it because
Mhm.
again, you look on social media and the internet and it gives you this elaborate answer and you're more confused than you were before you started.
Exactly, and then you end up doing nothing because you
E-
don't know what it is that you need to do. And,
Exactly.
we'll talk, I know, later about some other things and some examples, but, we have to look past the surface too. We have to really think about what's going to make us better long term,
Right.
not just, I love to go get my nails done. I love to go to the spa, but the truth is when I get back from the spa, this house still needs cleaning up. These children still need to taken care of. So we've got to think about things that are just not the now, but those things that are going to help us long term, those changes that we can make in our lives,
Mm.
those priorities that we can set, those boundaries that we can set for ourselves,
Mm.
that's going to help us over and over, and not just those instant things. I
Right.
can sit and binge watch TV all day, but again, if work is stressing me out, I still got to go back on Monday. So watching TV all weekend is not going to do the trick. I've got
Right.
to do more than that. So,
Right.
there's a place for those things. I totally, like I said, I'm a proponent. I love a good spa day. I'm never going to tell anybody no. But it takes more than that.
Right.
It takes more than that to be able to truly say that we are
Okay.
doing or practicing self-care.
Okay. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and begin to peel back layers, so to speak, of some of those things, because you talked about setting boundaries. You talked about these long-term things that'll help us going forward. Let's
Mhm.
let's let's take something for example. Say for instance, you have a person who, you know, and I know because you do a lot more, and I'm guessing, and correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of it is centered toward, I guess, if you look on the outside in, more women related, but it's not actually, because you could take, if you took the labels off of it, either gender could use these practices, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. I am a woman, so obviously I'm gonna be team woman first, and I also feel like it's the women that I feel like feel the guilt. Like,
Hmm.
I love my husband, I'm not talking bad about him, but he will take a day to say no to people. He will take a day to kick back, but women feel guilty about it a lot of times.
Okay.
A lot of my
Okay.
friends that are moms and that
Hmm.
work, I hear them feeling guilty because the kids need this, or,
Right.
their job needs this, or the church needs this. I
Mhm.
feel like women do
Okay.
a worse job than men. I feel like men can just, you see the memes all the time, and you see stuff on TV where, the woman's getting everybody ready and the man's just sitting waiting for in the car while mom is doing all this other stuff. It's just,
Right.
so
Right.
that's kind of why I focus on women. And again, because I'm a woman, I just felt like, those are my people, and that's who I want to really help, because that's who I talk to and that's who I hear over and over again that it's
Mhm.
not taking care of themselves. So
Well, and that's understood. And I was just teasing you about that part, but I guess more of what I was related to, that you can actually take some of your same core principles and relate it to either sex.
yeah, I
Because,
have a lot of men that follow me on Instagram. Now, I do have a private Facebook group that's just for women, just because women's issues
right,
are different. Like,
exactly,
their issues are different. So I have that private Facebook group where there's about 600 women in that group, and we will just kind of talk about, so I put motivation out, I put tips out, I ask questions, and it's kind of like family over there. It's a large
right,
group, but I have a core group of people who are always responding and asking questions and
mhm,
inboxing me and sending me things that they're doing, and I really enjoy that. But yeah, I have a lot of men that follow me on Instagram, and it's the same, like you said, same principle. I want everybody to take care of
right,
themselves, because we know that especially after this pandemic, so many people have emerged, and I say emerged, we're still in it, but just a lot of people had time to self-reflect and really think about what it is that they really want, and just recognize how they needed this time to rest and regroup and refocus, and just realize how much of a disservice that we do to ourselves by
mhm,
not taking time for self-care. So you're right, man, woman, children. I have, on my blog, I do, like, self-care for college students, self-care for teens. Like,
mhm,
everybody needs to be taking care of themselves. It
right,
doesn't matter. So
right,
yeah, while I do largely follow by women, there are other people,
right.
who
Okay.
benefit from that, because it doesn't matter. Like you said, it's for everybody.
Okay. Now you mentioned your blog, and what is your blog?
It is called What Chair Thinks, and the link is just www.whatchairthinks.com. You can place it in the link. I can type it out there. I mean, I can type it out in the chat for you. But
Okay, yeah, type it
yeah,
up.
I absolutely love blogging. That's been a huge form of self-care for me too. So I enjoy that.
Awesome, awesome. Because you have a lot of information. I want to be able to push this information out to as many people as possible. Because at the end of the day, um, see. That's let me
You
see.
copy it there because I thought it was going to go to everybody, but it
Yeah, this technology is
didn't. And I put a new blog post out there every week, and it's all kinds of stuff about self care that's there.
mhm,
It's like I said, it's my kind of self care. I love it.
mhm,
Love having that interaction there. Love being able to. I reach out to a lot
mhm,
of brands, self care brands, and I'm able to share that information with people. Trips and just
mhm.
all kinds of stuff, just to help people to know the resources that are out there. I
Right.
say that my blog is that place where I provide that encouragement,
Mhm.
support, and resources. If you don't know where to start, you can definitely, you know, get some guidance there on my blog.
Right. Well, that's definitely that is a awesome resource because again, for someone who's been saying, "Yeah, I really need to do more for myself," but they don't know where to start. You know,
Mhm.
they have a resource to go through and just kind of scroll and kind of begin to understand. Because again, it's not about just getting mani pedis. It's not
Right.
about just going to get your hair done. Because again, you come home and you still got to tend to X, Y,
You're
and
not
Z.
dealing with the issues,
You
right,
know,
and you're not dealing with the fact that you have said yes to all these things that don't serve you, that don't interest you, that you don't doesn't make you feel good, but you just are going through the motions, and doing a lot of that stuff is draining,
hmm
and, it kinda pours over into other areas of your life, you
hmm
know?
now I'm going to softball this question to you. So, would you say sometimes self care could be saying no?
Oh, absolutely. I have a whole blog post about that. And I do, I'm on Instagram also at Cherith Fluker, and I'm always doing like reels and other things, nice ways to say no, which is so crazy to me because why do we have to have a nice way to say no? We feel guilty when people ask us
hmm
stuff. And I say people are very, very talented. They know how to ask you stuff. So, or ask you to do something in
hmm
a way that makes you feel like you have to say yes, and then we're feeling bad for saying no,
Right.
to protect our own peace and stuff, and I, am always putting stuff out there about, "Oh, that yeah, thank you for thinking of me, but," or, if somebody's like, "You're the only person who can, um, do this thing like this. You're the only you're so good." Well, you know what? Maybe it's time for us to be able to, give someone else an opportunity to,
Mhm. Right.
I don't want to be the hoarder of all of the knowledge. I'm happy to hold their hand through it, or I'm happy to do
Mhm.
this, and this, but I'm not going to be in charge of the whole thing. And
Right.
then, we just got to figure out ways to say no. And I say, don't set yourself up with the let me think about it or I'll get back to you, knowing that you don't want to do it. Go ahead. And then you're filled with anxiety, and
Mhm.
again, you're going through your week or going about your life,
Mhm.
and you're still thinking about that thing because you
Right.
don't just go ahead and, you
Just
know,
say no.
if yeah, or, give them an alternative. And I
Right.
know that takes some time. I always tell people, when I'm on Instagram and when I'm on my blog, start small. Like, I don't mean just go out here and be like, no, no, no. I mean, I know there's things that you have to do. I get that. But you should not be more often than not doing things and being with people and that don't serve you or that don't put you in a good place. You got to protect yourself because if you are not protecting your own peace, nobody else will. People will, and I don't want to say the word use because I don't necessarily think it's use. I mean, when people do things good, you want them to do those things,
Mhm.
but it's not fair to that person for them to always be giving, 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 giving
Right.
with, especially if it's not something that they, um, you know, that's
Right.
something that serves them, something that they don't want to do. Like,
Right.
I'm all for helping people, but not all the time. I gotta take care of me.
Right. Okay. Well, we got actually a couple questions here. I'm gonna start with Selena's because we got a couple questions on Facebook. And Selena says, who's also your soror, by the way.
Okay.
She says,
Thanks,
"Thank you,
Laura.
Chair." She said, "Where do we start?" She said, "Qualify specifically for her, please." She's like,
Okay.
so
I
just
I get that too. I said, and if you're talking about on the blog, definitely go to the blog and go to where I have the different sections and look for self-care. And then I have one that says, you start with that definition. What is it? But if we're talking about just like, where do I start with self-care? You got to sit down and think about what it is. I say the things that are draining you, the things that are stressing you out, the things that are causing you anxiety. You want to start there. You want to think about what you can do to
Mm-hmm.
set boundaries in those areas.
Okay.
I'll use social media as an example because that's an easy one for me.
Mm-hmm. Right.
People are like, I don't know how you're on social media all the time. It's so negative. And so I'm like, I don't know what y'all looking at on your social media because I give everybody, I say that 3 strikes, you're out.
Uh-huh.
If you stress me out 3 times, you're going, I might not unfriend you, but I'm gonna block you so that I'm gonna hide you so that I don't see what you're
Right.
saying.
Right.
I'm gonna give you a little time out. That
Right.
way I'm not hurting anybody's
Mm.
feelings. We're still friends, but I don't have to see that drama. I don't have to
Right.
see the stuff that is stressing me out. You can make this thing what you want it to be. You
Right.
can follow the accounts that
Mm-hmm.
are positive and uplifting to you.
Mm-hmm.
You can, friend someone that's not always keeping up Facebook drama, and you don't have to do those things. Your social media is yours. I
Right.
say, just like your house, you would not let people in your house that were in here
Mm-hmm.
raising hell all the time. You
Right.
wouldn't. You wouldn't invite them over. You wouldn't let them stay. Do the same thing with your social media.
Right.
Do the same thing. Protect yourself. You get to determine how your social media is. 'Cause I'm like, my social media is negative. I don't know what y'all are doing over there because I got the 3 strikes. You're out over here.
Okay. Let's see. We got Jaquise says, she said, what if a person has been there for other people so long that they have no idea what makes them happy? And how
And
do
that's
we
what you gotta spend that time sitting there trying different things, doing different things,
Mhm.
being around different people and seeing who it is that energizes you and makes you feel good. I have certain friends, and I bet we all know if I want to have a good day of just laughing all day and I know I'm gonna have it, I know who to call for that.
Mhm.
I know who to be around for that. You know the people in your life that are gonna have you being like, oh God, you know that, and you get yourself ready for that because again, if it's friends or family, you know you got to deal with them, but
Mhm.
you know those people who are going to make you feel good no matter what,
Right.
and that's who you need to start scheduling some time with and being
Mhm.
with.
Right.
If you may not know, um different things that make you happy. Try different things, go different places, try new restaurants, do these different things to
Mhm.
see. I had a friend we were talking about, no, actually a friend of mine on social media, and I'll use that word, my social media friends. I see people saying things like, I don't like to get my nails done. It stresses me out. So that's why I don't like self-care lists. I put self-care lists out there and I have an ABC checklist that has all
Mhm.
these things on, self-care ideas and stuff, but you got to figure out what works for you. You got
Mhm.
to figure out what makes you feel good. I was
Right.
talking to a friend who says she doesn't like to go to the spa. I don't know anything about that because I love going. She said, I don't like it, just stresses me out for people to be touching on me. And you know what? Then don't go. That's not what you do for self-care.
Mhm.
You gotta take some time. And like you said, if you have been so busy focusing on everyone else, then that means you are a prime candidate for getting your self-care routine going. Like you need to sit
Right.
down, spend some time, write journaling about what makes you feel good.
Mhm.
As you go through your day, if you had a good day, what made you have a good day?
Mhm.
Who were you around when you were feeling good? What did you eat that day? Did
Mhm.
you exercise that day and were you feeling good? You gotta, really, write about those things so that you have that record there and you can look back and you can see. If I start my morning, I know you've noticed this too, Terrell, because I have been working out more. When I work out in the mornings, I
Mhm.
seem to have a better day. I
Right.
don't know what it is. I don't drag that day. I'm up and I'm, in a good mood. When I'm eating better, I
Mhm.
feel better. Not all sluggish, not in a bad mood, So you just really have to pay attention to the things that you're doing, and how they make you feel. When you're feeling good, you need to record that. Do more of those things,
Right.
do more of those things that make you feel good. Be around more of those people who lift you up and make you feel
Right.
good. So you just have to really be intentional about taking some time to document it and then see those patterns. I was really stressed out when I was blah blah blah. I don't need to do that as
Right.
much.
Right.
If you're really stressed out when you're planning the um family reunion, maybe you don't need to be on the family reunion committee next time. You need to let somebody else do that because, or
Right.
say I can help y'all another way, but I don't want to be the head of it because that stressed me out.
Right.
That made me not be able to sleep for 6 weeks or whatever. So you really have to pay attention to
Right.
those things and how you feel when you're doing those things.
Sabrina Morcia says, "Hey y'all,"
Hey, Sabrina.
and Erica says she had to learn to say no. She said,
It's hard too. It is
Yes,
hard.
everything will stress you out. Then she says, people will use and abuse your niceness, not intentionally, but because it's easy.
Right, it's easy. If I know that this is the person to go to make the macaroni and cheese, and I'm gonna go to her every time I'm using that because we have an auntie that makes the best macaroni and cheese. So everybody's always asking her to make it, but it gets old when somebody's
Right.
asking you to do it all the time, you know. So yes, and I don't even think that it is people want what they want. I don't even think they think of it as using you. I think
Right.
it's, people want what they want.
Mhm.
And you have to love yourself enough and protect your peace enough to be able to say, okay, hey, no.
Right.
We have what we call it's so funny. My mom used to laugh at us about this. We have our closed for business days. That's what we call it. Me, my husband, two kids, we've done it forever. And on our closed for business days, we don't let anyone in and we don't let anyone out. And those are our days, like, we don't answer the phone, we stay in our pajamas all day, we love our clothes for business days. And it would be so funny because mom would call, since it's mom, I have to answer, and I'd be like, "Hey, mom, it's closed for business." She's like, "Dog, I wish," because she knows, like, we're so serious about that.
Right.
And, that's time that we are together as a family. We don't get to do it that much anymore because the kids are gone, but I can promise you these next 3 weeks that they're home, we will get a closed for business day in.
Uh-huh.
We do everything before. We make sure there's food in the house, and we just are here and we just kind of lay around. Like I said, we don't go anywhere. Nobody can come in, nobody can go out. And we do that occasionally, about once a quarter, we would do it. And that was just our thing, and just our way to make sure that we were, we just talk about things, what's going on in your life, because everybody's ripping and running so
Mhm.
many different ways. And
Mhm.
you just really don't get that time to just, be together as a family without
Right.
having a booked agenda or packed, schedule. And
Right.
so things like that, are just we can't say that we haven't taken time for each other because
Mm.
we're intentional about taking that time.
Right.
And you have to do that for yourself.
Mm. Okay. Pam says that she said saying no to what doesn't serve her has been a game changer.
It is a game changer. And it's hard because we don't wanna let people down.
Right.
We don't wanna let people down. But you gotta protect yourself because nobody else is gonna look out for you. You gotta look out for yourself. Nobody else is gonna do it
Uh,
for you.
so Brenda's getting at you. Well, first she says, that's so true, and people don't. Dang, it slipped down. She said that's so true, and people don't think no it's a complete sentence. And then she turned.
Absolutely. We always feel like we gotta give an excuse as why. And like I said, with
Mhm.
those nice ways to say no, we feel like we've got to be nice about it. But I'm telling you, it gets easier.
Mhm.
I'm there on that. Like that part, it took me a while to get to because I grew up with parents who were very giving and they didn't tell anybody no ever. I didn't ever see them telling anybody no. Um, but I've learned how to do it, and
Right.
like I said, it is not. I'm always like, "Hey, no, I can't do it. Thank you for thinking of me. Maybe next time or something like that." I'm a pro at it, and I don't just go around saying no, no, no again. But if it's something that I know is going to stress me out or it's going to, fill my schedule to the point where I don't have any time for me or my family or things that I want to do, I'm
Mhm.
not doing it.
Right.
I'm not.
And Sabrina said, she said, Lord knows you get ghosts when those kids get home.
Yeah, I do. Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of my friends tease me about that because, especially now that they're gone,
Mhm.
I am very intentional. Like when they're here, it's all about you. I love you. Kayla's up there right now. So I was looking at you sideways for a minute, but I was like, okay, okay. I'd already made this commitment and she'll be there. So we
Right.
kind of,
Yeah. Tell
and
Kayla,
she'll be here for a little while. So
tell Kayla she needs to come visit me while she's home.
I'll definitely tell
And
her that. She's probably napping.
oh my goodness.
She loves a nap.
Yes. Raquel says close for business intentionally. She
Yes.
says she loves this.
Yes. I
Um,
mean, we schedule them like it's our close, and we look forward to like what snacks do you want? What movies are we putting on cue? Like it's for real. Make sure everybody got their blanket. It's on when we have our close for business. And everybody that knows us knows it's like don't even ask. You
right.
cannot have an emergency on close for business day. Or you can, but don't call the flukers because
I love it. And thus far, the one thing that I've taken from this is saying no is not a bad thing.
it's not.
It's almost essential, like setting a boundary.
And it's like saying yes to yourself. I'm saying
Exactly.
no so that I can say yes to myself. I mean,
Mhm.
aren't you worth saying yes to? That's what I would say.
Right.
I'm worth it.
Right.
I'm worth saying yes to
Yeah.
myself. So
And taking time for the little things. One of the things that I was listening to this book, Battle Cry by Jason Wilson, and he was talking about the samurais in ancient Japan, and they loved flowers, and and I was like, man, and he was talking about men never get flowers, and I was like, yeah, that's right. And so I was in Publix not long after that, and I stopped and I looked at the flowers, and I started buying myself some lilies, and so
okay.
every couple of weeks I'll buy myself some new lilies because I like flowers.
Mhm.
And of course, but it's always been one of those taboo type things to where men buy women flowers, but doing something just as simple as that
Yep.
for
Yep.
yourself.
We do it in the Facebook group. I'm always like, I will randomly send flowers to someone in the group just because
Hmm.
it brightens your day. I buy flowers for myself when I go
Hmm.
to the store. Same thing. But yeah, it doesn't have to be something, whatever it is that you like. And yes, it just kind of sets the mood when you have those, I don't know, it just brightens the day. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I do kind of want to make sure that,
Hmm.
while I'm saying all these things and making it seem so easy, I do want to say that there are times when we can go through all of these things. We have taken time to self-reflect to see where we can improve our self-care journeys and all this. But there, is a time sometimes when you got to seek professional help. That's
Hmm.
something that was different for me. After I lost my parents, I went to a therapist for the first time, after a lot of kicking and screaming, because I heard you say earlier, that's just not something that we do in our community. It's just not. I didn't grow up knowing anybody that went to therapy.
Hmm.
Um, you know, so that was something that was very different for me. And during those sessions is when I really kind of had that opportunity to self-reflect and realize that while I looked like and acted like I had it all together, I totally didn't. I was neglecting myself. I look back at pictures of myself. I was unhealthy. I was, at an unhealthy weight. Skin was all broken out just because I wasn't taking care of my skin, it just lots of things like
Wow.
that probably wouldn't have come to light had I not, you know, went to therapy. So
Mhm.
that's something that I have to say, if you've tried and you really do feel like you need that, extra support or guidance, I definitely don't, turn my nose up at going to see a therapist or, a mental health professional to help you with that self-care
Right.
journey.
Right. And that has been one of the big things that I've been a really, really strong proponent of, is because sometimes we don't, we can try, and we're limited in our resource or our skill set of what we can do. And so is our best friend who's listened to all of our problems and vent. Some things just are just beyond.
It's beyond them.
And,
Right.
so at a certain point, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with. I encourage people. I'm like, listen, try it. Because all they're doing is just helping you
Mhm.
unpack years of whatever, and just
Mhm.
kind of help you sort through it, so
Yeah.
you can see your path clearly.
Right. I
That's
heard you say something talking about your friends. Like, sometimes I think about that, I'm like, it's kind of almost a little bit selfish to unload on your friend. Because your friend may have their own thing going on, but we do
oh,
it. We do it all the time.
yeah,
And
right,
I'm not saying don't do it, but you don't need to be doing that all the time because, they have stuff going on too.
exactly.
And
um,
so
you're absolutely right. Let's see here. So Sabrina said that's really good, saying yes to yourself. And then Pam said self-care is intentional. You have to realize that you deserve to make the effort for yourself. And then Sabrina also said, she said, any
and
let's see.
who has to know? I love that. I love that, because that's one of the points that I wanted to bring up too,
Mhm.
is like sometimes that's detrimental to our self-care by us having to
Mhm.
like, we don't have to be so. I know social media has us thinking that we have to tell everybody everything. We don't.
Mhm.
Sometimes that's detrimental to your self-care too. We talk too much, we tell
Mhm.
people too much,
Right.
invite them to have an opinion, and
Mhm.
their opinion is gonna stress us out.
Right.
So, absolutely, you do not have to let everybody know that you are doing that. It's
Right.
probably better that you don't.
Right. And you know, on here, I tell people that I attend therapy because I don't want to be the person that's encouraging people to go, and I'm not going. So,
Right.
but I also understand that there are going to be those that aren't always going to be receptive to what I'm saying. But
Mhm.
I'm going to be a supporter because my whole job is to help try to break that stigma.
Mhm.
Understand that that there are people that they're going to say, "Oh, just pray about it. Just pray about it."
Mhm. Mhm. That's
But
what
when
we've always been taught.
and
Yeah.
look, and Selena sent me this article of it was a couple weeks back of a Houston pastor that committed suicide,
Wow.
and one of my other guests a few weeks back said, God bless these practitioners to help us. He placed these practitioners here to help us with some of those issues.
Mhm.
If not, they wouldn't be here. So
Yeah.
there's a room for God in your self care and your help. There's a room for him, but there are people here that are placed on this earth that have been given a God given talent to kind
Right.
to help you maneuver through these things.
Absolutely. And that's a whole process in itself. You know me. I went to a couple before I found the one
Mhm.
that was
Right.
right for me. And
Uh-huh.
I feel like picking a therapist is just like picking out an
Oh.
outfit or anything else. You get an opportunity to, try it on. And if it doesn't
Mhm.
fit, I'm gonna try something else.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that we have to be intentional about that and not go to somebody just because your friend may have recommended it, that may not be, that
Right.
person's style because it's definitely not a one
Size fits all.
style. Right,
Right.
right. So I
Well,
went through a couple before I found the person that I really felt like was the right fit for me.
I'm really glad that you said that because I've said that before. Just because you go to one and
You looking at Pam's comment.
leave it to my little sister. Try Jesus and therapy.
And therapy, absolutely.
Amen. But just because you go to one therapist and it doesn't work, that doesn't mean that's the end of it.
Right,
Because there's that connection that you will find with the right therapist
right.
that's going to get you right, and I'll use the term, in that sweet spot, because you're going to feel comfortable with them and they're going to be able to challenge you when you're not opening up, because they can feel that there's a spot that you just aren't ready to touch, and they'll push you just enough,
Mhm.
and help you get through some of those hurdles.
Right.
um because the one I'm seeing now is actually my second one. My first one was actually, she was pretty good, but I felt that it was lacking.
Mhm.
So when I found the current one that I have now, I went through Psychology Today, and I literally went through and I'm reading all the bios and I'm reading through information to find out which one that I connect with.
Mhm.
And people think that it's just because, like you said, it's not just, oh well, let me just find a counselor and just go. That there has to be a relationship there, a connection, so you can feel comfortable with
Absolutely.
that person.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
counseling, getting counseling can be a form of self-care, in my opinion.
Oh, it definitely is. It definitely is. I have a blog about that too.
Uh, a blog for everything, huh?
I really do.
Oh,
I've been at it for a year now. It's a bunch of stuff on there, a lot of helpful stuff.
so now, for those that, if I'm starting new to self-care,
Mhm.
um, what is the first thing? Hold on, before I get to my question. Selena says she manages a federal government office and she's a caregiver for a mom who has Alzheimer's. She says, I embrace the no counseling monthly. Sunday, I read struggle with medication and trying to silence my brain.
Yeah.
So I guess she what would you start for starters for her?
Well, and not just for her, for anybody. I you
Hmm.
know, I think that we have to definitely kind of debunk some of the myths
Hmm.
that that come with self-care when we think about it, those things that I talked about, like
Right.
self-care is selfish. I have a blog about self-care for caregivers because I had to be a caregiver for my mom for a brief period. And for that short amount of time, it definitely opened my eyes to what caregivers go through. I have
Mhm.
a really good friend who is a caregiver for her mom, who's been a caregiver for her mom for a while, several years. But she is like the poster child for self care too, because she definitely takes that time, for herself. She uses her extra money to get sitters, so that she's able to go and do things with her family, to go on vacations and to do those things that she needs to do to kind of balance it as much as she can. But we've got to like stop it with buying into those myths. Things like self-care is expensive. Well, yeah, it's expensive if you think that you're going to go to Bora Bora for your self-care all the time. You got to think about those small things that you can do. Sometimes it's as simple, like I get frustrated at work. Sometimes I can just step outside for
Mhm.
about 15 minutes and just get some fresh air. I don't have windows in my office, so sometimes I feel like the walls are closing in, so, something as simple as stepping outside for a few minutes, or using my lunchtime to meditate, or
Mhm.
to listen to, an encouraging podcast, or to read some, a devotional or
Mhm.
whatever it is, but using the time that you do have. So I hear people say it's expensive. It doesn't have to be. You don't do those expensive things all the time. You
Right.
have to, there are lots of things that you can do, that
Mhm.
you can try to see what helps you. Like if
Mhm.
I see myself getting frustrated, I might do some stretches, or I might, realize that I might be dehydrated. I need to drink some more water, or I need to do whatever it is to put me back in that place. But debunking that, you know, that myth that, it's expensive, and also like the guilt. That's another thing. Sometimes we feel so guilty for doing things for ourselves, and we've got to figure out how to stop that too. Like it is just like I said, it is it's bad that we feel guilty for taking care of ourselves. And
Right.
the truth is, if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of the people and things around us. Lena can't be a good caregiver if she doesn't say no. She can't be a good caregiver if she doesn't get rest. She can't be a good caregiver if she's not planning with intentionality, so that she's not getting overwhelmed on the back end.
Mhm.
Something like that. Planning my meals. That's something that's small. I'm not now, when I get home after a stressful day, I'm not stressing myself out again by trying to figure out what we're going to eat, because I've already planned that out. Just little things like that just, you
Mm.
know, helps to kind of ward off some of that unexpected stress that we
Right.
sometimes do. Then we end up making all these bad decisions, and we're, spending too much money eating out, when we could just, do something simple like taking a few minutes on the front end on Sundays to get ready for your week.
Okay.
Look at your to-do list. For a little while, I had gotten really sloppy with my, calendar. I'll get a notification. I'm like, oh, I got this meeting that I forgot about, because I wasn't taking the time to look at what I have in front of me that week. Now I know if I have a busy Monday, then I need to take myself to bed on Sunday night. So I don't need to be up scrolling on social media all Sunday night when I know that I have a busy,
Mm.
Monday. Set yourself up to be successful. There are little things that you can do to just really help you to not get, that burnout, stress, overwhelm that you do when you don't plan. And
Right.
that's a form of self-care, just planning and being intentional about what
Mm.
you're doing, with your life. What are you doing with this? So,
Awesome.
yeah.
I see. So Brenda says she finds in the Black community we wear a badge of courage, being stretched thin and taking insurmountable tasks. It,
Like there's a prize for how much you can do. Absolutely. And I definitely think that Black women are, I'm all the women. I definitely think that we're guilty of that. We take on all the tasks and we try to do all of the things. And she's absolutely right. Sabrina's right. We I don't know, like there's something waiting on us at the end of the rainbow if we do all these tasks. Like we're gonna get an extra a first class ticket to heaven if we do all all the
well,
all the tasks. So,
I'm going to say, I dare say that it's generational.
oh yeah,
We've watched
absolutely.
it so long. You
Mhm,
it's almost in your brain. This is what I'm supposed to do.
mhm,
There are certain things that we have to unlearn and relearn,
mhm.
so that we can be pass these things on to our kids, because we don't the struggles that we have now, we don't want our kids to go through those same struggles. So Brenda
Yeah,
says,
being worn
go
out.
on the prize and
Yep,
slap one out.
yep,
Um,
yep,
but we have to do the hard work now, so we can teach our kids something better.
yep.
because we can carry that burden, and once we relearn now, they can see that, okay, well, mom or dad didn't look nearly as stressed out as they were early on, because they did something different.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
start.
little things like,
Mhm.
if you're too stressed out to clean your house, get somebody to clean it for you. You
Right.
don't have to do things because other people think that that's what you need to be doing.
Hmm.
I got a lot of people with, and not just me, I'm just saying people have a lot of opinion about what you should be doing with your time and
Right.
what you should be doing with your money. And
Mhm.
that is just something that we've got to get away from too, is letting those people's opinions, like we're not responsible for their opinions. If they feel this certain way, uh,
That ain't gonna help.
we laugh all the time. We have a friend, that we went to college with, and he is always we say he's always caking his wife. He's always like buying her these great gifts and all this, and we joke about it all the time. And I can remember one time we were at a Christmas party or something, and he got her this big gift in front of everybody, and my husband said something to him. He's like, "Man, you're always showing us up or whatever." And he was like, "Y'all just got to step your game up. Like, you're not about to make me feel bad because this
Right.
is what I'm doing." And it's kind of like that with, you're not about to make me feel bad because I feel like I need to have someone to come in and clean my house, which I
Right.
don't wish I did. But
What
but
else they know?
little, little things like that. Like, don't let people make you feel bad about what you do with your resources. Like,
Mhm.
we again allow people into our lives and their opinions. Like, we're not responsible about what they think about
Mhm.
that. I
Right.
went to the beach 2 times in September. I was real fun about it, and somebody said something like, "Look, don't count my beach trips because 'cause I'm telling you, I'm going. So don't count them. 'Em, you're gonna lose count." So just, stuff like that. You can't
Right.
allow people's opinions to stop you from doing what is
Mhm.
good for you.
Right. That is that is awesome. That self-care in itself wrapped up. You can't allow people's opinion to determine what's good for you,
No.
and self-reflection to determine what makes you happy.
Mhm.
And though just those small things go a long way. Let's see,
I'm
Monica
jealous
says,
of Monica. I'm
Monica,
so jealous.
come
I'm
in.
working on it.
Monica, let me know what it is. I need somebody to come in and clean here.
Right?
I just need to come once a month. I just once a month.
That's self-care though, since she's ti that's time, and, if you know that you're gonna get attitude when every time you have to clean up, just get somebody else to do it if you can. I'm like,
Mhm.
you do what works for you.
Right.
Everybody just needs to mind their business, right?
Exactly. What the old people used to say, sweep around your own front door.
Yeah.
And truth be told, I think the world would be a better place if everybody did a little bit more uh, house cleaning themselves, worried about what they had going on in their
Yeah.
own homes,
Yeah.
and not, instead of giving your opinion, especially you're not even taking your own advice when you give opinions to somebody else of what they should be doing,
Mhm.
and not taking your own advice on top of that. So
And
self.
you gotta stick up for yourself too. Like I said, don't
Mhm.
back down because somebody thinks that you're being, wasteful. We work hard. It's not
Mhm.
anybody else's um job to manage our resources. We get
Right.
to manage our own resources,
Right.
and especially now work is stressful. Educators and medical professionals, it's stressful right now. So,
Mhm. Right.
I just
It,
feel like just leave
it,
people
it,
alone. If they're not
like I said,
bothering you, not asking you for something, leave them alone.
exactly.
Monica's
Exactly.
not asking us to pay for her house. Can girl get your house clean twice a week,
Get it
twice
clean.
a month,
Get it clean. Go ahead, Monica.
right?
You know, um, but definitely, I've learned a lot tonight. So we're gonna have to bring you back again, because the next time we want you to just to start giving out some just various ideas
Okay.
for men and women.
Yes,
Because I got to look at it for
I'll
the
give
guys.
y'all some tips.
Guys, guys got we need a little help too. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
but I think
And that's kinda how it works, like, I talk to people as I continue what I'm doing, like, that's how I came up with the college students, and not just my kids, but their friends. I'm in Auburn as much as I can be, and I just hear a lot of them talking about being stressed, and I'm like, "You don't have to be stressed. Yeah, college is a stressful time, but I'm gonna share with you some things that you can do to, kinda help." Another thing that we didn't touch on is just asking for help and knowing when you can't do it all. Like that's kind of going along with what Monica said. When you're stretched, so then you can't ask for help. We don't like to ask people for help, but people always asking us for help. So we gotta get away from that too. So
yes. Let's see. Aviant says she said she love it, and she said, "Amen, educator right here." So she's
yes,
an educator too.
I feel you. I feel you, sis.
Matter of fact, and
This has
she's a
been
soror too.
hard. This is year 19 for me. And gosh, this has been the hardest year. This has been harder than year one. It's been hard. And I worked in an alternative school my first year teaching, and this is harder now.
Well, I definitely have enjoyed this.
It was fun.
I've learned a lot. Now I got to figure out how to incorporate it into my life. First thing is find me a housekeeper. Second thing is
look, let me do a plug for the women that's on here. If you are on Facebook, come join my group. It is called the Self-Care Series about what Chair thinks. Like I said, there's about 620 women in there. Started the group probably about 8 months ago. I love it. Come hang out with us over there. And you can also find me on Instagram at Chair Fluker. And yeah, I'm always sharing something about self-care there. So, and men can follow me on Instagram, but don't come to my Facebook group because I won't let you in. It's just women over there.
and on that same vein as self-care, again, as I said at the beginning of the show, this show was sponsored by my oldest daughter, Chandrell, and Shapely Beauty Spa, and we're giving away a $50 gift card to her website. And the question is, let's see, Selena says, Jared, this has been great. Thank you so much.
It's been fun.
And the question is, who can tell me what are BMAX 3Rs? Whoever can tell me what are BMAX 3Rs first wins the $50 gift card. I'm going to play this right quick while everybody tries to figure that out. All right, and we're back. All right. Hopefully everybody got a chance to see that. She's my daughter. We're really, really proud of her. She's a single mother. She's full-time Air National Guard, and she's Selena. Selena wins. So Selena, I put the link in her website. So you go ahead and take a look at the website and see if there's anything that you're interested in. But you will get I'm gonna work it out. You'll get a $50 credit with her, and if there's something you want to order,
that's awesome. Congratulations. That was an awesome gift to give today. That was right in line with what we're talking about. So,
and awesome. I think Selena deserves it. For one of many reasons. She is probably one of my biggest supporters. She never misses a show, and on top of that, she's always sending me messages like, "Hey, bro, you might want to think about doing this." She's been so supportive. I love her to death. I love her to life, and I think she definitely well deserving of it. So that same tip with the house cleaner.
She's not kidding because I know that mom life she's living over there. I remember that. I'm telling you, I've been delivered. That's what I tell people. I don't have to run the gangs and all that stuff in the war.
So Selena, check the website, send me a message, and we'll talk. And I'll make sure you get squared away. Everybody that has logged on, thank you so very much. We appreciate the support.
It's been fun.
Cherith, as always, I love you dearly.
I love you back.
Monica said, "That's my line, sister." Oh, she talking about Selena.
Oh,
but we will definitely I'm gonna have to get with you and let you break out your calendar to tell me when you're gonna be available again.
Okay.
Because what people don't know is I tried to get you on like in November, but your whole
Yeah.
November was
Yeah, it was crazy.
so. But
Yeah, football season's over with now,
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah. We ain't gonna talk about football because
and we're finished with the first semester with my daughter. She probably is tired of me coming down there now, so I have a little bit more flexibility in my schedule now that
right.
I'm embracing this whole empty nest. Any empty nesters out there? I got a self-care for empty nesters on the
Uh-oh.
blog too. I told
Oh
you I got
Lord.
everybody. I
Look,
got you on the
uh,
self-care stuff.
everybody, if her page, if her page wasn't in the chat, I will go back in and make sure I put her page in the chat so you guys can go back and check out that information. And as always, these videos are on my YouTube channel, Convo with BMac. And I want to just again thank everybody. And we're gonna conclude. I always conclude with a prayer. Sometimes I put the guest on the spot and let
Uh-oh.
them do the prayer, but Cherith is giving me that look like she
No,
might not want.
no, no, Cherith is always ready. I
Well,
don't
so come on with it. You're up tonight.
All right, I got you. Father God, we come to you right now just thanking you for this day and thanking you for this platform that Brian has to be able to spread his knowledge about mental health to so many people. Lord, thank you for self-care and for that knowledge of self-care. And Lord, just help us to be able to grasp the concept and to take action so that we can, do what it is that we need to do to take care of ourselves so that we can be a better servant for you. Thanks again. And I hope everyone has a great night. Amen.
Oh, man. Well, it has been awesome. It has been awesome. I've thoroughly enjoyed this. I can't thank
It's
everybody
great.
enough for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you guys next
All
Sunday.
right, y'all have a great week. Do
Yes,
something today to set yourself up for a great week so that you won't be
yes,
stressed out this week.
yes. No is yes. So look forward to seeing you guys next Sunday.
Sabrina is on it. It is on it tonight.
She is cutting up.
Now you talk about a supporter. Sabrina is my friend, and she has definitely been supporting me since day
Man,
one. So I
look,
appreciate her
look,
so much. My biggest cheerleader.
listen, listen. We would without people such as them, we wouldn't be where we are. We need people like that to
That's
have
right.
to hold us down.
Yeah.
But y'all have a blessed week, and I hope to see everybody next week. And y'all take care. And cuz we'll talk soon.
All right. We'll see you soon.
All
Love
right,
you.
love you too.